Everywhere Donald Trump looks right now, he is losing. He lost on Tuesday. He's losing support from Republicans in the Senate. He's losing support from his biggest cheerleader in Marjorie Taylor Greene. And now, in his time of need, he's losing Melania, who has abandoned him over the biggest crisis, the biggest scandal in Donald Trump's administration. And with one action, she could really save Donald Trump. And she's decided not to. We're going to get into the complete mess that Melania has created, the criminal scandal for Donald Trump. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into how Melania has completely screwed Donald Trump and abandoned him on his biggest scandal, I want to start with a first lady who is sticking by their partner, sticking by our democracy, and that is Gavin Newsom's wife, Jennifer Newsom, who delivered this takedown of Donald Trump that you have to watch.
And I will tell you right now, I will not raise my children to think Donald Trump is an acceptable American leader. Nor that he is what the leader of our great country should behave like. Yes. I won't raise them to think his terror enables his power and that his greed equals success. He is the exact opposite of what real strength looks like. So in our house, Gavin and I will continue to teach our kids what strength really looks like. If you see someone sitting alone at a table, you invite them to your table. If you see someone being bullied, you speak up and ask an adult for help. And you always, always tell the truth. Maybe if Donald Trump's parents had taught him any of these lessons, we wouldn't be in this mess. On the contrary, Trump is enriching his immediate family and cronies. He is stripping away our rights and our democracy. When he knows he's going to lose, he cheats. When the game isn't rigged for him, he rigs it himself. Sometimes no is a full sentence. Trust me.
That's right.
But Donald Trump's never accepted no for an answer. He's a con artist, a predator, a malignant narcissist in chief, and the worst president in our nation's history.
It is good to see that it runs in the Newsom family, hating Donald Trump, smacking him down. That was just so incredible. And, you know, with Usha Vance seemingly trying to escape a relationship that is destined to be doomed, because I think JD's getting with Erica, and of course Melania's never around. It's good to see a first lady actually step up and care about her state, care about her community, care about our country, and that is why I wanted to play that clip of Jennifer Newsom, especially, again, in contrast to Melania Trump, who we haven't seen in a long time. Actually, the last time we saw her was last night because she received the Patriot of the Year award from Fox, which I don't even want to get into that whole like bag of beans, that fucking mess. I don't know what Fox is doing. I don't know why Melania is a patriot. But what she is doing right now is actually, in my opinion, pretty great. And that's screwing over Donald Trump on the issue that has been worse for him. It's Jeffrey Epstein. And for our context that we really need, we got to take a listen to what Marjorie Taylor Greene said right here.
Yes, you've been outspoken about releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files to the public, including the names of individuals involved in his sex trafficking network. Now, Democrats have been calling for that too, along with some of the other Republicans, but most of your party is pushing back and stalling. Why do you think that is? Because if President Trump is not implicated in there, what is exactly being protected here?
I have no idea, but it seems like very rich and powerful men are being protected. And I will sign anybody's resolution, and I'll get on board with anyone's push to release those files, because this is about women, especially when they were teenagers, were victims of rape and sexual abuse by Jeffrey Epstein. And according to the victims, there's a list of men that they haven't released yet. They are afraid of lawsuits. They're afraid of it.
Even Marjorie Taylor Greene is admitting that Donald Trump will do anything possible to keep the Epstein files covered up, including having Mike Johnson refuse to swear in Adelita Grijalva. They'll literally do anything to keep us from talking about this. which is why it is crazy that Melania Trump has abandoned Donald Trump on this issue. Now, you might be asking, how did she do that? Melania doesn't really seem connected to the Epstein files besides being friends with Epstein and attending those parties. Well, Melania Trump has threatened to sue Donald Trump's biographer, Michael Wolff. Now, he responded saying that he will be countersuing, and we're about to read a little bit about that. But if Melania drops her threat, Wolff will too. She hasn't done so, and now it's really backfiring. Author suing Melania reveals extraordinary crowdfund drive. Michael Wolff, co-host of the Daily Beast Inside Trump's Head podcast, revealed he has raised over $500,000 in just 24 hours to sue First Lady Melania Trump. The best-selling author wants to question the First Lady under oath about her relationship with convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein. Wolff revealed the astonishing total during a live taping of the hit podcast, calling it a war chest for his blockbuster case. Melania Trump's lawyers told Wolff they intend to sue him for $1 billion over false, defamatory, disparaging, misleading, and inflammatory statements that he made about her and Epstein, who died in 2019. This now gives me subpoena power, Wolff said of his GoFundMe support. I can subpoena the First Lady, the President, and everybody they knew during this period in the 1990s when Jeffrey Epstein was central to their lives. So there's the possibility here that this lawsuit will answer all of the questions, the unanswered questions about their Epstein relationship. Wolff said his lawyers have warned him the process will be extremely expensive, and they were initially prepared to go a little slowly until the first legal bill was paid. The thing about bills from lawyers is you know that they're going to be bad, and there's so much worse. Wolff said, I put together a GoFundMe page yesterday, and it has now raised $500,000. So now having a war chest, we can go to war. Wolff, who has written 4 books about Donald Trump and extensively interviewed Jeffrey Epstein during his lifetime, has set a target of $770,000 to cover his legal bills. So far, his GoFundMe page has received more than 10,000 donations from supporters around the world. The Daily Beast has contacted the White House and Melania Trump's office for comment. The author said, writing about the family, has put me in considerable conflict with the White House. White House Communications Director Stephen Chung, who is a disgusting ghoul, of course attacked Michael Wolff. Wolff added that the president seems to have been particularly alarmed about my reporting about Epstein. There's nothing I would like better than to get Donald Trump and Melania under oath before a court reporter and ask them what are the details of their relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. What went on here, Wolff said. He refused to acquiesce to the legal threats and asked for a declaratory judgment in a New York court. Effectively, I am suing Melania, and of course that is giving him subpoena power. So Melania Trump, in an effort, much like her husband always does, to protect her image, she is going after a journalist. And why this is, to me, Melania abandoning Donald Trump, is because if she just shut this shit down, if she just packed up, if she just, decided, all right, I've had enough of this, I'm not going to win, Michael Wolff is going to embarrass me, he might be able to receive documents through a court, he might be able to subpoena text messages, email communications, whatever it may be. I'm just going to be humiliating my husband. I'm bringing more attention to this matter. I'm going to stop. She hasn't. And that's the reason Wolff is suing. He's hitting back because of her threat. So if Melania retracted that, I don't know if Michael Wolff would continue to sue. What grounds would it be on? Now, I hope he continues to sue no matter what happens. But Melania clearly only cares about herself. She wants this to be in dispute, any relationship she had to Epstein. The statement that Michael Wolff made saying that the first time they ever got together was on his plane. So Melania, instead of having her Donald's back, only is focused on her image. And that has been a lot of how Melania has moved in all of Donald Trump's legal dealings since the end of his first presidency. Donald Trump's court hearings, Melania, nowhere to be seen. Sentencing, nowhere to be seen. Arrest, nowhere to be seen. Melania, when the shit gets tough, when the shit gets legal, abandons Donald Trump. And that is exactly what she's done on Epstein. She's not standing up for Trump. She's trying to protect herself. And in doing so, is giving the opportunity for there to be more media attention around the issue ripping apart her husband's presidency. And for good reason. And she doesn't seem to care. But every legal battle that Donald Trump is getting himself in is not going too well. Especially one from a few months ago that you might remember, a hero local here to D.C. And I want you to get the justice for the sandwich man. Hell yeah. It feels good to keep on winning. It's so much winning. Quite frankly, I'm not tired of winning. Because we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep delivering L's to Donald Trump in court and the court of public opinion. Come these midterms, he already knows he's going to lose. So let's get out and fight. Let's have some enthusiasm. We deserve a little fun. We deserve to smile and be happy. We're going to continue to do so on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments, because the Republican Party right now, it's dead. We're going to keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.